Hello everyone, Jolene here from Bookworm Adventure Girl. Welcome back. I hope that you are all well. This is where I talk about the books that I'm reading, and I like to read diverse books, and I highlight Canadian literature. If you are new, thanks so much for checking out my channel. Please hit subscribe and stick around. Today I'm going to be talking about the Reading Across Canada Challenge. I have to do some catching up with this as well, so I appreciate your patience for those who are following along and reading along. The Reading Across Canada Challenge has been so much fun. It's a reading challenge to get people reading more Canadian literature, more Canadian authors, more Canadian stories. So each month we focus on a different province or territory, and we have a prompt for anyone who wants to follow the prompts. The only thing that you really need to do to participate is to read some Canadian authors. So I will leave a link to my introductory video in the description box below where you can learn all about it. And I will also leave links below to the tracker that you can use, and I will have the schedule and prompts below as well. Way back in September, I also talked about the Reading Across Canada Challenge and taking it to the next level. And that's for anyone who wants to be part of a book club that reads CanLit, and it meets online. We have representation from BC to Nova Scotia, so we really are reading across Canada. Our October read was Coventry by Helen Humphreys, and it was a great first read. I will be talking about it when I do my October wrap-up, but for now I will say that we all enjoyed it and had a really good conversation about it. It says on the cover, a small gem of a novel, and I have to wholeheartedly agree. And then for November, the Reading Across Canada Book Club is reading A New Season, which is the newest book by Terry Fallis, who, you know, I love. Terry has very kindly agreed to join us for a discussion about the book at the end of the month. So in order to have access to that discussion and the book club, you have to be a channel member. So I will leave a link below if you are interested in being part of that or learning more about it. There is always the option to sign up for that month and then cancel if you just want to be part of this one event. But I think it'll be great fun. Terry is fantastic, and we're very happy that he's going to be with us. In October, we were in Newfoundland and Labrador, and I never had a chance to read the book that I chose, but I still do plan on reading the book, hopefully, fingers crossed, by the end of the year. So let's talk a bit about Newfoundland and Labrador, and then I will tell you about the book that I chose and that I hope to read. And I will end by giving you some recommendations for November, so this month when we are in the Yukon. So Newfoundland and Labrador is an interesting province. It is the youngest province in Canada. I have only visited it once, but I was quite taken by it, and we did spend our time on ferries and driving the very dusty roads in Labrador, in between visiting the little towns with very interesting names like St. John's, Babels, Cupids, Come by Chance, Dildo, and Gander. So Gander is the town that probably became more popular after 9/11 when they took in over like 6,000 people who had to make an emergency landing there. And Gander is a very small town. There wasn't room for all the people in hotels. So most of the residents of Gander took people into their homes. And that story is the inspiration for the Broadway musical that you may have heard of called Come From Away. So Newfoundland is the largest Atlantic province. Many people think that Newfoundland is part of the Maritimes, but it's actually not. It is different than the Maritime provinces. It even has its own time zone. And even though Labrador is twice the size of Newfoundland, over 90% of the population lives on Newfoundland Island, and over half of the population live in St. John's. Cape Spear is the most easterly point of Canada, and the province is just known for its friendliness, for its hospitality, and it's just a really beautiful place to visit. The book that I chose to read for Newfoundland, that I haven't yet, is The Colony of Unrequited Dreams by Wayne Johnston. I've heard so many good things about this book, and I cannot wait to read it, but I need the time to read it first, and my goal is to get it done before the end of 2023, so we'll see how that goes. In November, we made our way to Canada's north and the Canadian territories. So we are in the Yukon, and if you are following the prompt, then it is a book with a wintry vibe. Now, that's not hard to find in books that take place in the Yukon, but I do need some of your help out there. If you can help me, that would be great. If you are familiar with some really good Yukon writers and books, please, please, please put them in the comments below, because I lack in this area. I only have 3 recommendations, and only one of those authors was actually from the Yukon. All 3 have ties to the Yukon in their work, and their work is well known in the territory and in Canada and beyond, but I'd like some more contemporary recommendations if possible. So these recommendations would, I'm going to say, in a way, be the classics. So first is an author that any Yukon list I think would have to include, and that is Pierre Berton, who was born in Whitehorse, and I have his book Klondike, but he has like 40 to 50 books to choose from. He's a great author if you are interested in Canada and Canadian history. Next on my list is Jack London, who was an American writer, but is probably, I think, most famous for writing stories set in Alaska and the Yukon, like Call of the Wild and White Fang, classics. And then last on my list is a prolific poet, Robert Service, who was born in the UK, but spent a really good deal of time in the Yukon. When the town of Whitehorse was becoming a town, really, and during the gold rush. So Robert Service is often called the Bard of the Yukon because of a lot of his poetry, if not most of his poetry, is about the North, the Yukon, and life there. And I have The Best of Robert Service, which is a collection that I actually picked up when I was in the Yukon the first time many years ago, and I've read some of the poetry, but I've never read the entire collection, so this is a possibility for me. As I said before, though, if you have some recommendations, please share them. Please let me know what you read in October for Newfoundland and Labrador, and let me know what you are reading for the Yukon in November. I look forward to chatting with you in the comments. Thanks again for watching. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and don't forget to make every day an adventure.